Hello, can you guys see my screen? You see the syllabus?
Yes, I could see it.
Okay. Okay, so this is my contact information. Like I said, I'm Dr. Henry. That is my email address. That is my cell phone number. I give you guys my cell phone number because I know that you guys are all mature young adults, and you guys are gonna respect my time down as well. So typically, the best times to email me, or I'm sorry, to text me would be from 6:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. After 10 o'clock, I ask that you not text me. If you really want to get in contact with me, send me an email. It usually takes me a couple of hours to go through them and everything like that, but I'll actually go through them and address them. I didn't address any of your emails yet because a lot of you guys were talking about the ad codes. We'll be talking about that here in a second. And so I wanted to kind of address that in person to see who was really serious about it by coming to the class. And if you guys are serious about it, I'm going to try to get you in the class. So if you kind of stick around at the end of it, I'm going to get your name and then I'll be sending you an email with an ad code. Okay. The other thing is if you text me, like let's say it's an emergency or something like that, and you really need to text me, it's okay to do it after 10 o'clock, but it has to be an emergency, like you're in jail or you're in labor or something like that. Okay. Now, if you happen to be in jail, this has happened to me in one of my classes where I had a student who actually ended up going to jail for some reason. And I'll try to make sure that we get something to you so that if you're going to be in there in a while, you won't fall too far behind. And so you'll be able to sit there and stay on top of the class. I also had a student that actually went to labor during the class and actually had a baby during the class. And again, we will make accommodations. We'll make sure that we'll get you what you need while you're nursing and things like that, especially since we can do everything online. And so, but we'll make sure that you stay on top of things. And the thing that I want to say is that I don't know about all your instructors at Harnell, but I'm always willing to work with students. As long as you let me know what's going on, I'm willing to work with you. Okay. If you don't let me know what's going on and you try to tell me after the fact, it's harder for me to work with you. Okay. Okay, so I already talked to you guys about the tutorial services. Again, all you have to do is click the link. The links are the ones that are underlined. It'll actually take you there and you'll be able to apply for those services and take advantage of those services. Now, this is the thing that I tell all students, right? Those who want to succeed, those who want to pass this class can pass this class, right? That means that you're going to put in time to sit there and do it. To me, I don't think it's that hard of a class, but a lot of students do. And I think part of the reason why students have a hard time with it is because they don't want to put in the time that's necessary for them to actually learn the material. Chemistry is one of those things that you can't really just memorize. You have to take the time to actually learn it. And learning it means that you actually have to do the homeworks. You have to be interactive with your colleagues, and then also somewhat interactive with me, okay? So this here is just the course description. You guys have probably already read it when you read the catalog. These are the student learning outcomes. So at the end of the semester, these are the 3 things you should definitely know about this class. And so you should be able to sit there and answer all 3 of these learning outcomes without a problem. This here is the course objectives. So these are all of the different course objectives that we should accomplish by the end of the semester. Now you guys are going to get a little bit more because a lot of you guys are going to be going into other courses like Chem 1A. And how many of you guys have to take Chem 1A? None? All? Anyone there? How many of you guys need to take is it bio? Bio 27. Bio 1.
I do.
Okay. Okay. So you guys all know that this course is required for that, right? So you guys are going to learn a little bit more that'll kind of help you be a little bit ahead in those classes as well, too. So if you pay attention, you're going to get a little more information to kind of help you through that process. Okay, so the textbook that I use is it's called an introductory chemistry, an active learning approach. Now, if you go to Amazon, typically you can get the book, a used version of the book for about, or rent a used version of the book for about $20, 20 to $30, compared to what it costs for a brand new copy. A brand new copy is going to cost you, of a paperback or a hardback, anywhere from $200 to $300. They also have a ebook available for like $33. And so if you go to Cengage, they have that ebook for like $33. And then if you go to Amazon, if you get any edition, it'll be okay, because the editions change very little from year to year. And so if you have any edition, you will get pretty much the same outcome. Okay. So we'll be going over the Chem 101 subscription here in a second. You're also going to need a student ID, a driver's license, or an ID card or a passport. Now, you're going to need this for the proctoring service that we're going to be using. And so your exams are going to be proctored by this program called Proctoring. And it's a computer program that kind of is used to recognize behavior, right? Certain behavior. And then so what happens is that you're going to be recorded while you're taking the exam. Your screen is going to be recorded while you're taking an exam. And the program is actually going to monitor like how you're responding. It's going to pick up the noises that are around you and things like that. So if you're taking your exam, you want to try to take it in a place where you're all by yourself. So you don't want to take it where all your buddies are right next to you and they're all telling you the answers, because that's cheating, right? So are you guys there? It's the best part of Zoom meetings.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. We're here.
Okay,
Yes.
so you want to make sure that you have some form of
Yeah.
identification so that I can see that you're you. And so like, I'll give you an example. One semester, I had a student whose brother took her exam for her. And so they did it on Proctoring. And so what happened is, of course, you show your ID, show you who you are. And then her brother had a really big beard and she was a very petite woman. And so there's a big difference between the two. So that was an easy recognition of what was going on. Okay. So we have to use proctoring services like that to sit there and help us to make sure that we continue with academic integrity. You want your degree to mean something. So you don't want it to, you know, find it in a gumball machine or something like that. So we want to make sure that we maintain academic integrity. Also, there'll be a contract that I'm going to have you guys sign dealing with academic integrity, also dealing with lab safety, okay? And I'll be actually emailing you that, and what you guys are going to have to do, you're going to have to upload it for an assignment, okay? Okay, so you're also going to need a scientific calculator or a graphing calculator. Either one is fine. You can get a scientific calculator at the 99-cent store for about $5 or less. I think it's $3.99 to be exact. It works pretty well. So it's a good investment either way. So the dates here for your kits are wrong. They'll be corrected here in a minute. I actually have to put in the new dates and a link to them. So when you click on this link, it's going to give you the wrong link, but the new link is going to give you where it's at. So it's going to be the end of next week. And so there's going to be 3 or 4 days next week that you guys are going to have the ability to go pick up your kits. So one of those days should be able to fit in your schedules. I know you guys are very busy, and that's part of the reason why you guys decided to take this class online, because you wanted to try to fit into your schedule. You guys are going to be provided safety glasses or goggles with your kit. So you guys don't have to worry about that part. I just found out that recently. So you make sure you pick up your kit. You'll sit there and have those safety goggles, and you'll have some of the supplies that you're going to need for labs. The other thing is that you guys are going to have to pick up certain supplies. I'm going to give you a shopping list, and so I'll be giving you that shopping list. It'll also be on the syllabus here in a minute, because I have to make some modifications to it, because we're going to do 2 new labs. And so, and that shopping list, the things that you're going to be buying, it's going to be less than $20. So it's going to cost you no more than $20. So put aside $20 that you'll have for later on. Okay. So these are some of the resources that I always recommend to students. How many of you guys clicked on the Chem 101 link and it took you to Chem 101 here? Anyone?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Good. Don't do it. I'm actually going to remove that because I think that's part of the problem that a lot of students are having is because they click here rather than going to modules and then clicking there. So here I have a couple of things that are going to be pretty valuable to you. One of them is the American Chemical Society. So that's it's a professional organization that kind of dictates how chemistry is being taught. It also provides, it has journals, it has internships, it has grants for students, particularly those that are interested in the sciences, primarily chemistry, biochemistry, biology, things to that extent. So if you're interested in any of those areas, you may want to take a look at that link. Okay. Chemistry is cool. Chemistry is cool. It's just a website that basically explains why chemistry is cool. It also can answer some of the questions that you may have. It kind of brings it to a level that makes it a little bit easier to understand. And then, and there's a lot of cool stuff in it. I already talked to you guys about YouTube. You guys should, at this point, you guys are a social society. How many of you guys already have a YouTube page or a YouTube channel?
I actually don't.
I don't. No, I
You
don't.
Okay. So what I want you guys to do, I want you guys to get a YouTube channel. There are 2 reasons I want you to get a YouTube channel. One is so that we're not clogging up the Canvas shell. So if you guys are submitting videos to Canvas shell, what happens is that it gets really clogged and then it gets really clunky and then we're not able to get everything that we want in it. So that's one reason. The other reason is because, well, actually there's 3. The other reason is because the best way of keeping my classes full is you guys. So by you guys doing labs and sharing those labs with your friends or your friends checking out your YouTube page, right? And seeing that you blew something up or this happened and everything like that, they say, damn, that is really cool. If Gabby can do it, I can do it, right? And so then next thing I know, all of Gabby's friends are in my class, right? So you guys are the best way of publicizing my class, okay? So I'm gonna use your fame to sit there and populate my classes, okay? So, and then the last reason is because I figure about 80 to 90% of you guys are gonna be really successful. And one day you guys are gonna be really, really famous, right? So then I will have links to all your YouTube pages to show everybody that I knew you. And then I can sell everything to the paparazzi so that I can sit there and make millions and millions of dollars.
It's
okay?
pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's a great plan, right? So. Okay, you guys are also going to be doing a group project. When you're working on your group project is going to be composed of 4 components. One of them is going to be a written page. It's going to be a paper that's written. It's going to have figures and information about aspects of chemistry. You're going to be given a particular topic to sit there and focus on. And so it's going to be like a little web page that you guys are going to work on that's going to be very, very informative for other students. And then someday, I'm hoping to use some of your pages if they're really good enough. I'll be using those to sit there and help students learn chemistry early on. So the other thing is that you guys are going to be giving a presentation as a group. And so you guys are going to present that particular topic that you're doing. So like say, for instance, your topic was bonds. And so you would tell me everything there is to know about bonds, right? And so you're going to get a 20-minute presentation that you're going to have to do. And the page should be more informative than that 20-minute presentation. But the 20-minute presentation should give me the highlights, you know, and then you should lead me to the page so that I'll know exactly what to do. So in Canvas, you guys are going to be dedicated a page that you and your group is going to be working on throughout the semester. And so at the end of the semester, you're going to be responsible for your pages. Okay. The last thing of your group project is that you guys are going to make a music video. Do you guys know what parodies are?
Yeah. Where you make basically a remake of a song from the beat, but not the same lyrics, I'm guessing.
Exactly. Okay. And so you guys are going to do a remake of a song from a certain beat. So you guys are going to be given a certain genre. So for instance, you may get country or rap or reggaeton or something along those lines. And let's say, again, you're working with bonds. So then you would write a parody that explains bonds to me in a fun and exciting way. And so you and your group are going to make videos. You guys can do it where you guys get together. You guys can do it from the individual parts of your own homes. But the key is that you guys need to sit there and plan out times where you guys can discuss it. You guys need to be able to communicate either FaceTime or via Zoom or via some means to sit there and pull all of this together. Now, the reason I give this group assignment is because how many of you guys have jobs right now?
I have a job.
You have a job?
Yeah.
Where do you work at?
I have a job.
You have a job?
I work in the fields. I pick strawberries, so I don't
You
really
pick
have.
strawberries?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So do you pick strawberries all by yourself?
Yeah.
So you're just out there by yourself. Nobody's out there with you.
People are out there, but I mean, I make my own boxes. Like I make my own box, turn it in. Like each person does their own box.
Okay, but is somebody responsible for picking up boxes? And is somebody responsible for another aspect of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are kind of working as a team to get this whole process done. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're working as a group. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So how many of you guys work totally independent where you work with no one at all?
I think everybody works with someone.
What was that?
I think everybody works with someone.
Exactly. Okay. Now, everybody works with someone. Do you get along with everybody you work with?
Not all the time necessarily, but it's mandatory. Like, so you live a good life, you don't cause problems, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't necessarily like everybody that you work with, right?
You don't have to like them. That's what I understood from my parents' knowledge. You don't have to like them, just work with them.
Exactly, right? And that's the key to life, right? So there are going to be people that are just going to get on your nerves, right? Yeah. And so working in a group and having a group project kind of helps you deal with that. It helps you with the real world. And that's what I want you guys to understand. But I want you also to look at it in terms of professionalism, right? So most of you guys have jobs, and here's a job that you get a chance to do, kind of in a sense from the leisure of your own home, right? And so you guys are going to have to be self-paced, and you're going to have to be pushing each other in a sense and be able to get a quality product. The worst thing about group projects, what is the worst thing about group projects?
So when someone doesn't put in their work.
When somebody doesn't put in their work, right? But we know that that happens in real life too, right? There's always, Johnny doesn't do anything. Johnny sits on his butt. Johnny got the job because his brother had the job before him, and his dad gave him a job a long time ago. And Johnny could get away with doing anything, but I can't. I have to work twice as hard as Johnny, right? Yeah. So that's going to be the same thing that's probably going to happen to each of your groups. One member in your group is going to be the biggest slacker ever, right? And so you're going to have to find ways to sit there and motivate that biggest slacker ever. You're going to be innovative. A good leader can get people to get things done, right? They find ways. They either sweet talk them, hey, man, let's go have a beer, and sit there and we could talk about the project and stuff like that. You bribe them in a sense, right? Or some people, they're not easily bribed. Some people, it takes a little coercing. Hey, man, we've been contacting you. You got to make them feel guilty. We keep calling you and you keep hanging up on us. You don't show up. What's up, man? Come on. And then some people, you're like, I'll be over to pick you up in 5 minutes. You can't go anywhere. I'm knocking on your door. Let's go. Right. So you're going to have to find ways to sit there and motivate people to do what they need to do. Now, good leaders are able to do this without making a big scene or having to go to the boss and everything like that. And at the end of the day, everything looks smooth and polished, right? That's a sign of a good leader. My goal is to make sure that you guys become good leaders, right? One of my goals. And so the group projects help you with that process. And sometimes a leader needs to crack down and say, hey, man, you're not pulling your weight. We need you to sit there and do what you need to do. Keep promising, but you don't give what you promise, you know? So that means you also need to be able to communicate. And sometimes that communication is nice. Come on, you can do it. And sometimes that communication is like, hey, we really need this right now. Come on, you know? So you need to be able to sit there and do both. Good leaders are able to sit there and figure out which way works best for that individual. Okay, are you guys with me?
Yeah.
So, along
Yeah.
those lines, there's these Creative Commons. Because things are copywritten, Creative Commons has images that are free for your use, as long as you give the proper credit to the individuals that made them. And so I always like to give you guys that so you guys can use that to sit there and populate some of the pictures, okay, that you guys are going to be using in your presentation, and you're also going to be using in your page, okay, and possibly in your video. The next two, chemistry with Melissa Maribel. So Melissa Maribel is a YouTube personality who focuses on chemistry. She's really, really hot, I think. And so I always recommend her because she's really hot, she's really smart, and she makes things understandable. So I can sit there and I can go to any topic and I know that she has it and I understand it by the time I finish looking at it. And so I always push a lot of my students in that direction, particularly men, because, you know, men find women to be attractive. Not all men, some find men to be attractive too. So I have a male personality as well too. So I also have chemistry with Tyler DeWitt. So Tyler DeWitt is also a YouTube personality. I don't think he's as attractive as Melissa Maribel, but he's smart as Melissa Maribel. And they have two different ways of approaching the topics. And so I kind of like, I go to Melissa, and then I sometimes will go to Tyler, you know, to sit there and check him out and say, oh yeah, he's not as cute as Melissa Maribel, but you know, he could get there. Right? The other thing is P-Table. P-Table is an online periodic table. That's where your periodic table is going to come from. So, and I'll show you where to find all your resources that you guys can use for your this course and also for the exam. Okay. So let me click on the P-Table real quick. So this is P-Table. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
So I love P-Table because it has all of the elements of the periodic table. It's nicely arranged and things like that. It will actually give me more information if I click on certain things. Like if I wanted to know about the electronegativity of all the different elements, if I click on electronegativity, it'll show me a table and a color schematic basically showing you which elements are more electronegative than others. Right? Not only that, if I click on the element itself, it'll actually open up a Wikipedia page that tells me about this element. And it has all that information about the element on the Wikipedia page. Okay. So P-Table is a very valuable resource. I always try to encourage my students to use it, to find densities and things to that extent. And of course, you guys know about Wikipedia. The thing is that Wikipedia is not always right, but they do cite their material. So you can go to the original material to make sure that that particular topic is correct. So it's always a nice little source as well. Okay. Lab safety. So we will actually be going over lab safety. I'll be making a little video on it so that you guys will sit there and go through that process. And then I'll have you guys sign that paperwork saying that you understand that you're not supposed to do crazy things like certain chemicals you should be eating. And, you know, you want to, if we're working with flammable material, you want to have your hair up in a bun and things like that. So we'll talk about that in more detail. The one thing that I would like you guys to do, if you're looking to have kids anytime soon, and you're a female, or even if you're a male, Although almost all the chemicals that you guys are going to be working with are non-lethal, or they're household products that you guys are already around, but there's still things that you shouldn't like try to drink, like don't drink bleach or anything like that, right? You guys know things like that. So we'll talk about those things. But if you're pregnant, if you could let me know so that we can make sure that we are taking extra precautions to make sure that we don't have you work with anything that could cause problems with you later on.
Someone asked if you can make a parody of lab safety.
Yes, that is one of the topics, actually.
Nice.
Good question, Cassandra. Okay, participation. So you guys are expected to participate in this class. So that means that you're going to be participating by interacting in the discussion. You're going to be participating by interacting with your groups. You're going to be participating by signing into Canvas and doing the assignments. If you don't sign into 4 sessions, let's say you missed totally 4 sessions, 3 or 4 sessions, I'm probably going to drop you because there's a lot of people that really want to take this class and they find it valuable enough to sign in. And you guys should get in a habit. What I recommend about my class, take it in small chunks, biteable chunks, right? So dedicate every day an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to just chemistry, right? And I know it sounds weird. You could do it in a toilet. You could do it, but sometimes you need that little privacy, if you guys have a big family and stuff like that. Spend an hour in a toilet doing your homework, and I'll show you how you'll be able to do that with Chem 101, right? So, but dedicate an hour a day, just an hour, hour and a half, or if you're going to just do the work day, right? Monday through Friday. So then, or Monday through Thursday, dedicate that time, enough time that you're able to sit there and get things accomplished and learn the material and go over the lectures, especially if you're not attending the lectures. Okay. So if you don't do that, like I said, if you're not logging into Canvas and 4 sessions, I'm going to assume that you're not interested in the class and that there's somebody better suited to be in the class. So I'm going to drop. Okay, so there will be reading assignments. So I will let you know the chapters that we'll be going over. I will give you the lecture notes for those chapters. All of the lecture notes will be under modules. So you'll be able to download them yourself. I recommend, I'm a big tree killer. I like to write on my notes and as I'm going through them or as the instructor goes through them. So I recommend to print out your notes. And I know that you guys are trying to save paper and stuff like that and save the trees and save the environment. So you can also download your notes and use your tablet and use that as a means of writing on it. You can set it up as like a PDF and print it out so that you have the 3 images on, or 3 of the slide images on a sheet, and they give you little lines on the side so that you can actually write. And I'll show you how to do that as well too. Let's see. Lab sessions. So I'm going to be recording the instructions for the lab sessions. That's going to be part of the written instructions. So you'll see what I'm doing. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to read it, and you'll be able to do it. And then you're also going to have to write a lab report. And then I will show you what you guys are going to need for your lab report. That's also in your resources page. It tells you all of the different points that you're going to need to include in your lab report that you guys are going to be doing. Okay. And so again, don't wait till the last minute to try to get all your labs done because it will blow up in your face. And I don't want to see you guys, struggle or fail the class because you didn't take the time out to do it. Okay, so I told you that this is going to be a self-paced type of thing. So the way it's going to work is that, or I'm trying to set it up so it works, is that you'll have to go through each of the chapters that you're supposed to go through before you can get to the next chapter. So that basically means that you go through, you do the homework assignments, you look at the videos, and you look at the videos, you do the homework assignments, and then you do the unit test. After you do the unit test, it'll open up the next unit, and then you go through that same process. Okay, so I'm still new at this. I still have a lot of trouble with online teaching because this is all new to me. I'm used to teaching face-to-face because I like laboratories and like being in the laboratory and doing things with people in the laboratory. bear with me. Sometimes things will pop up when they're not supposed to. If you can do me a favor and just say, hey, Dr. Henry, you always said that every Monday we have a new assignment that's going to be due such and such. All your assignments are going to be open already. They're all going to be open in the very beginning, so you can actually go through and do them, but they're not going to pop up on Canvas until after you completed what you're completing for that unit before it. Okay, because the thing is about chemistry, it's kind of cumulative. The stuff that we learn in the beginning, we're going to need in the end. And so you're going to constantly need the next layer. So it's going to be building on top of layers, on top of layers, on top of layers. Are you guys with me so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Good. Okay, so my grading policy, I grade on a strict curve. So there, well, from 90 to 100 is an A. From 80 to 89 is a B. From 70 to 79 is a C. From 60 to 69 is a D. And anything below 60 is an F. Okay, so, and this is what students always ask me. So if I get a 89.955, is that an A or is that a B?
Can you repeat that again?
So if I get, let me write it on the board, hold on. If I get an 89.95, is that an A or is that a B?
That's an A, no, because you're rounding up.
No, I don't
No.
round up.
That's a B.
You can't.
It's a B.
Yeesh.
Okay, so let me tell you why.
That's
So the
cold.
reason why it's a B is because I will be giving you opportunities to get extra credit. So cases where you're like that close, you want to make sure you have that extra credit done. So those opportunities means to logging in on Zoom meetings that are happening on campus, doing some event that's happening on campus, interacting with the club, things like that. So it's just to kind of give you that little bump. And you guys are going to get about 4 or 5 of those throughout the semester to sit there and help you get that A that you want, right? So if you're at that 89.95. In addition to that, I will also give you guys little challenges. Are you guys competitive? Any of you guys competitive?
Yeah, I consider myself kind of competitive.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm very competitive. And I believe that, you know, if you're applying for a job, let's say me and you were applying for a job, I want me to get that job. Sorry, I like you, you're a great guy and everything, but at the end of the day, I want the job, right? So I'm going to do my best to make myself look the best, right? So I'm going to do what I need to do to sit there and show them that I'm a better candidate than you are, right? That's the real world, right? You know, I know that some of you guys have been brought up like, oh, everybody gets an award and everything like that. But guess what? Everybody don't get a job, right? So you have to work hard to show that you're the best candidate for that position, okay? And so what we'll do is we'll have certain competitions, right? I'll put you guys in groups. Your group is going to be competing with another group, and the group that does the best will get that extra credit point, okay? Do you guys understand that? Are you there?
Yes, I understand that.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's talk more about my grading policy. So you guys have homework. You're going to have homework assignments, and I'm actually, this is actually going to change because I'm going to boost your homework assignment up a little bit more, make it worth a little bit more, and then I'm going to take away from. Actually, no, that works out perfect. I'm actually going to take away from the from your exam and your final a little bit, so that your homework assignment is going to be weighted a little bit more. One reason is because I want to see a lot of you guys get through the process, and since, you know, I think, how many of you guys are really good exam takers? You're just like, I can just take the exam and I'll ace it. Or how many of you guys freak out when you have to take an exam?
Me.
You?
I blank out. I forget everything. I even forget my name.
Okay. So I find that, and if you kind of look at the way my course is kind of designed, it's kind of spread out over everything, right? And there's a lot of weight on the exams, but you can still pass the class. Let's say you end up getting D after D after D, and you get 1 C on your exam, you can still pass this class, right? You especially want to do well on the final, but so I'm going to take a little bit weight off the exam. So I'm going to modify this a little bit. So let's say we're going to negotiate here. So we're going to add 5 more points here. We're going to take 2 points off of here, just make this 30. And then we're going to take 3 points off of here and make this 12. Okay. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let me tell you a little bit about the homework assignments, the way they're going to work, and then I'll show you an example. So the homework assignment again is going to be Chem 101. And so in Chem 101, you're going to have multiple attempts to go over problems. So you're not going to have one and done and that's it, right? You're going to have 2, 3, 4 attempts in some cases to sit there and try to get the problem right. And the goal is so that you guys learn the material. You figure out what you're doing wrong, and you're like, oh, I figured it out, you know? So you'll have the opportunity to do very well on the homework, right? If you choose to do so. Now, some people don't even look at the homework and don't do any of it. And so those people typically tend to fail, right? Because they don't do anything for the homework, they do poorly on the exam, they don't do the group project. And so because of that, they get crushed, okay? We want to make sure that you guys aren't those people, right? So you want to be doing a little bit of everything, right? Actually, you want to be doing everything, period. If you want an A in this class, you want to make sure that you are doing everything to your best ability, okay? If you want to be in this class, you want to do it almost everything to your best ability. If you want to see in this class, you know, you're like, okay, I'm going to do as best as I can. I'm not studying enough, but, you know, if you want to fail this class, you don't do anything, right? D, in my opinion, is failing, right? And most of you guys, it's required for you guys to get a C to go on to the next part of what you're going to be doing. So you want to make sure you get a C and above. Ideally, I would love to give everybody A's. That's part of the reason I don't grade on a curve, because if I grade on a curve, not everybody can get an A. I had one class, one semester, where it was 15 people. Of the 15 people, I had 12 of them got A's and 3 of them got F's, right? So that was the best I've gotten. I would love to have a class where everybody gets an A, right? Where areas should say where everybody earns an A, because I don't give you anything. Everything that you get, you've earned. So if you pass my class with an A, you earned that A, okay? So you're gonna have discussions. You're going to have exams. There are going to be 4 exams. And I told you they're going to be unit exams. And again, this is all going to be self-paced. I'm trying this out. I want to hopefully it works out. In your discussions, you guys are expected to sit there and interact with your colleagues. That means that you need a post. You should be posting early when the discussion is posted early. There will be 2 dates set aside. So the first date is going to be, this is the date you have to post by. So that's going to be our due date. So the late date is going to be that is the date that you need to have a reply by. If you don't have a reply by that date, then you don't get full credit, okay? And I'll actually explain that in the discussion as well too. So I also will give you guys practice exams. So I like to make sure that you guys are coming prepared. So you're going to have practice exams that you can do as many times as you like. So you can do it 100 times if you want. And then a lot of times my practice exams will be just like my real exams. Sometimes they'll be the exact same questions. Sometimes they'll be the exact type of questions, but with different numbers. So you want to come in prepared. You don't want to come in memorizing. I had a group of students in the summer where they called themselves just memorizing the questions and had the answers written down. The problem was that when they had the test, the numbers were different. And so they were way off on the different numbers. So you don't want to just memorize, you want to know, okay? And so that's the reason I give you guys that practice exam. And I also make you guys do it, and I make it an assignment so that you guys will actually do it for fun. So we've already talked about your final. So your final will be the last thing that you have to complete at the end of the semester. And if you get it all done early, that is perfect. That saves you time and agony. And as I said, everything will be self-paced. You also have your lab reports. Your lab reports are going to be worth 15% of your grade. I'll show you exactly how to do a lab report. There will be a Zoom meeting where we talk about it. We'll be doing, how many of you guys heard of the Mentos geyser? Anyone?
No.
Where people put Mentos and Coke? Anybody?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys will be doing that, okay? So we'll set you guys up so you guys will do a really cool experiment. You have kids, that is one you definitely want to bring your kids to. Okay. You have a group project and a presentation. We've already talked about that. It's going to be worth 15% of your grade. And there's also another section that I'm adding. It's called career prep. I've noticed that a lot of students that I've ran into over the last couple of years, they think about there's 4 careers, right? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a PCA technician, and I want to be an engineer. Okay, so I will actually be introducing a couple of other. Of course, I'm going to have some of those people come in, and they're going to give a Zoom meeting and stuff like that, and you guys are going to be invited to come to show up. And if you can't make it, all it is that you're just going to have to answer some questions about that particular career to kind of get an idea of the different careers. There are a lot of careers where chemistry plays a huge part in things. And so I want to kind of introduce you guys to those careers. So I'll be interacting with some professionals to sit there and come in and do that. So I was actually in industry technically I was in industry for about 10 years. And then I decided to teach, and I'll tell you the story about that one day. So I find that when I was in college, I didn't know half the careers that existed. When I went into industry, you start realizing that there are so many different things that you can do. And there are so many people that will pay you to do these things. And some of them are really cool, and some of them are not as cool as we think they are. And I know, like my family, I'm a first generation college student. So my parents were pretty poor, that we lived from paycheck to paycheck. They didn't have money to send me to school or anything like that. Part of my family, my extended family, were like, why the hell are you going to college? It's a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to graduate, all those things. And then other part of my family, they're like, yeah, college, it sounds good and you should do it. And nobody can take away your education. So there's kind of a mixed bag about how they felt about college. But they also didn't know that there were so many jobs out there. I mean, even though that they worked at those jobs, they never looked at people beyond, the people that they were surrounded with. And then in a lot of the places that they worked, there were people that were actually chemists or were trained as chemists or trained in, biology or trained in that are doing jobs that you wouldn't necessarily think a biologist would do. And so this section is pretty much for that, so that you guys get exposure to other things. So you know that if you think you want to go into nursing and then you get in there and you start that very first class and you pass out after you see the first sight of blood, maybe nursing is not quite right for you, but there's something else that might be. And you don't have to waste all the education that you put into to get there to sit there and do that. So I'll talk to you guys about that, okay? And we'll have people that'll come in and talk to you about it. Okay, questions? Okay, talked about extra credit. Now, the thing that I hate the worst is every semester, I will get a few students that will come to me at the end of the semester. They know they're failing the class, right? They know that they haven't done anything that they were supposed to do throughout the entire semester. Dr. Henry, is there any extra credit I can do? Now, we had all of these events that happened throughout the semester. They did one event, right? And then they're going to have the gall to ask me, is there anything I can do? Now, what am I going to tell them?
Should have done it earlier when you had the chance.
That's right. I will tell them exactly that. And I've told many students that, and they hate me forever. And I'm sure you've probably seen it on Rate Your Professor, right? Because, man, I got a lot of bad complaints about some of the things that I've said to people, right? But the thing is that people are giving you opportunities. We're putting all of this, we're packaging it up in a nice little package for you to succeed. You have control of your own destiny. You control if you succeed, right? It's not me who controls it, you control it. We have tutors for you. We'll have the assignments for you. We have practice exams for you. We have everything for you. All you got to do is take advantage of the opportunity. It's yours for the grasping. You've got to make the decision whether or not you're going to take it and take it to that level. Okay? And waiting till the last minute to ask me for extra credit, that isn't doing it. It's too late then. Okay, so speaking of opportunities, okay, I'm going to share a story with you. This is taking a little longer than you guys are probably thought it would. Now, when I was in college, I took this one course, and my instructor, he had a midterm, two exams and a final. And that was it. There was no homework or anything like that. So it was 2 exams and a final. And so the final was worth 50% of the grade. The 2 exams were each worth 25, okay, percent of the grade. And I told you guys that I'm a first generation college student. My parents were really poor. And my very first semester, and this was I was on the quarter system. It was the 3rd quarter of my first year. My very first year, financial aid had sent my money to another guy named Kenneth Henry. And he was at Davis, I was at UC Santa Barbara. And so I had no money. So I actually had to get a job to try to help pay for my bills and everything like that until they got everything resolved, because they kept threatening to kick me out. Now, I'm also going to tell you that there was, I had a director at Mesa who actually had talked to the school to make them let me stay on campus and stay in the dorms and eat food until I could get that all resolved. And I would just pay a little bit, long as, I had a job. So basically I had, we'll say about 3 different jobs. I was tutoring on the side. I was working at a late night store. And I was actually working for environmental health and safety. And so I was using all that money to sit there and pay for school. And then I was going to school and going to my classes and everything like that at the same time. So basically, let's say when my friends were out, they would start partying on Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then they would party up until Sunday, and then they would do all their homework on Sunday and stuff like that. I couldn't do that. They could do that. So they spent all the time partying, and I was sitting there working all the time. And there's this girl, she was really, really, really attractive. Oh man, I had the biggest crush on her. My friend comes up to me and he's like, guess who's going to be at this party, man? And he's like, this is going to be at the party. You gotta go. You've been talking about her, and stuff like that. You gotta go. You don't go to any parties. You gotta go with us. So I'm like, oh no, I can't. I have an exam. It's 8:00 tomorrow. So he's like, you already studied. You're gonna be okay. And me being an idiot, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm gonna go. So now I'm gonna say a couple of things, and I'm gonna put a disclaimer on here. Now, I was not 21 yet when this is happening, but I did go to a party, and there were a little bit of drinking and everything going on. So anyway, I go to the party. And I'm nervous and everything like that because I really want to make a good impression on Litsa. And I'm like, okay, hey, I go up to her and I'm talking, talking to her a little bit and trying to get everything out. I'm still nervous. So I'm like, let me take another drink, right? And I'm thinking, I can handle my alcohol. I've done it before. I can handle my alcohol. It's no big deal, right? So I drank a little bit. Okay. A few minutes later, I drink a little bit more, a few minutes later, I drink a little bit more. And now I'm turning it up. I'm dancing. I'm having a good time. I'm all loose and everything like that. And, I am having a good old time, right? So then I finally get up the nerve. I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to her, really talk to her, ask her out and stuff like that. And I have been drinking all night. We'll say, probably not the best time to sit there and be talking to somebody. So I go up to her and I'm okay. Hey, I really, really want to get to know you. I think we should go out and have dinner. And then I just vomited all over her shoes. So I was puking. Have you guys heard of the saying, praying to the porcelain gods?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
It's cold though.
so
You-
I was praying to the porcelain gods being the toilet. My friends took me, they tried to get me out of there so I wouldn't embarrass myself anymore. They took me to the bathroom. I'm just vomiting and vomiting and vomiting. And I'm just like, oh, so embarrassed, right? And I'm like, oh. And so I spent a good, good amount of time in the bathroom. So then they're like, come on, you got to go. We need to leave the party and stuff like that. And so they kind of drag me home and everything like that. And then I get to my bed and everything like that. And I'm going to say it's probably like maybe 4 in the morning or something like that, maybe 5. Then the next thing I know, I just start vomiting again. So I'm back in the bathroom, vomiting. So I finally get to bed. And I think it was about 5:30 that I'm like, I'm just going to sleep for a little bit. Then I'm going to get up and study for the exam. That's what I'm thinking. So didn't set my alarm, or at least if I did, I didn't hear it. So the exam started at 8 o'clock, and it was an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to say the class was about an hour and 15 minutes. And so I'm going to say I woke up probably about 8:50, 8:55, and the class was all the way on the other side of campus. And so I'm booking it, right? I'm booking it. And I get there. It's probably like 10 minutes before the exam is over. So I put my name on the exam. I think I answered one question. I think I got 17 points, something like that. 60 points, 60 out of 100 points. So that would be a what? 16 out of 100?
Yeah.
What would that be? Would that be a passing grade?
That'd be below.
That was a serious fat ass F, right? It was the biggest F I ever had. I never felt the class that bad my entire life. I never got a 17 on anything, right? Never, right? Especially on something that I knew. And I'm like, man, I knew this course. I'm like, I felt so confident. I felt I could teach the course, right? So got 17 points out of 100. That is a big fat F. So I'm like, man, oh my God. So I had to pass that class, right? Now I'm already at a point where I have 17 points. It's almost like basically saying that I have to ace the other exam and I have to ace the final, right? Just to get a C in the class. That's pretty much what I had to do, right? So the next exam, I sit there, I study my ass off. I get an A on the exam, right? And then the final, and I aced the final, didn't miss a single point on the final. So I end up at the end of the day, I end up with a 72% in the class. So I got a C in the class. And I told myself, I said, if I ever become an instructor, which I never thought I would ever do, if I ever become an instructor, I will give my students an opportunity, one chance to do test corrections so that they can bring themselves up from an F to a C. So I want you guys to follow me on this. So let's say you got 50 out of 100. Is that a B, C, D, or F? 50 out of 100.
F.
The F.
That's an F, right?
That's a nice. Yes.
Okay, so if I subtract 100 from 50, how much is left?
50.
50. So if I divide that 50 by 2, what is that?
25.
And if I add that to the 50 that I originally got,
75.
is that a passing grade?
Yeah.
Okay, so for test corrections are set up so that if you happen to do something like I did, something really stupid, right, which we all will do one thing like that at one point, you will have the opportunity to bring yourself up from a failing grade to a passing grade, or a low passing grade to a high passing grade. Okay, the way it works is that after you take that exam and you've gotten your grade and everything like that, you will do what I call test corrections or exam corrections. So in exam corrections, you have 3 things that you have to do. I'm going to make you work for it, right? Because I want you to learn the material, right? And so if you fail that exam, that means you didn't learn that material, and I know you're going to need it later on. So the way it works is that you will tell me why your answer is incorrect. Now, that doesn't mean because, I was looking at Jessica's hair and her is super curly, and, I was just so distracted. So I just wrote the wrong answer. No, that's not what I mean. I want to know why that answer that you gave me is incorrect. Scientifically, why is it incorrect? Mathematically, why is it incorrect? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Now, then you're going to have to tell me what the correct answer is. And then you're going to tell me why that correct answer is correct. The best way of doing that is by equations, right? So sometimes we can't do that because it's like it's a word question, right? But in most cases, you guys are going to be working out chemical equations or formulas to sit there and solve things. If you can show me through a formula, that's the best way of doing it. And so I actually give you an example of that down here. I give you an example of what I don't want. And then I give you an example of what I want. Okay? So, do you guys understand that? You see how that works?
Yes.
Okay. You guys had an earthquake?
Yeah, they're saying that they felt an earthquake. I didn't feel nothing though.
Yeah, the windows at
I
my
usually
clinic
don't feel the
shook.
earthquakes.
You usually don't feel them?
Yeah, like every time my parents have told me, "Oh, did you feel that?" Never. Like I don't know. I guess I'm weird like that.
Okay, so these are some of the important dates. These are your add and drop dates. This is the last day to drop. Hopefully, if you guys are thinking about dropping, or if you're a little scared or anything like that, it's okay to be a little scared. If you're a little scared, that means that you care about the damn class, right? If you're a little scared at the end of the exam, of the class, that's you didn't care about the class. You already know that you messed up. But if you're a little scared it's okay. You're gonna be okay, right? Come and talk to me first, and we'll look at everything together. We'll kind of get a feel for you and everything like that. I'll look at what you've done and how successful you are, and or some of the troubles that you have, and I'll give you some advice, and then you can make a decision to drop. Right? But come and talk to me first, because a lot of times I have students. I had a student. I am not kidding. They had an A in the class, and they were just, I don't know what they were going through or something like that. They're like, I'm gonna fail this class. I'm gonna fail this class, and I'm like, are we talking about the same class? I'm like, I'm looking at your grades here and you're doing great, So come and talk to me first before you make that leap. Because I really do believe that most students can pass the class if they put the time into it. If you're not serious about the class, that's different, and you can kind of tell those people always tell you, I'm going to show up to your office hours, and they never show. They're not serious, right? I'm going to meet with such and such tutor. They never show. They're not serious. I'm going to show up for group presentation. They don't show. They're not serious, right? So those people who are serious, and those people who are serious will typically pass the class. They may not get the exact grade that they want, but they typically pass the class. Okay. Now, if they put a little extra in it, sometimes they get that grade or better than what they were thinking. Okay, so again, these are all important dates. This date here is incorrect. That's why it's in red. I need to fix that. So, academic honesty, we'll actually go over that when I have you guys sign those contracts. Bottom line is, don't cheat. Don't think I won't catch you, because eventually I'll catch you. Sometimes I'll catch you and I'll let you just hang yourself with your own rope. And my philosophy is that I really hate cheaters, because I had an incident when I was in college where I was being called a cheater because someone had took my lab and decided to write everything verbatim and then took credit for it. And said that I was the one that did the copying. So I really hate cheaters. So I will do my best in that case. If I find you cheating, to try to get you, I'll first give you a 0 and give you a warning. I will talk to you about it. Then after I've talked to you and given you that warning, I will then, if you do it again, I will then go to the administration, and then we'll go through that process. And I will do my best to try to get you kicked out of the program, kicked out of the school. Because again, I know you guys value your degrees, and you don't want anybody just to sit there and say, oh, I got a degree in, biology, and I took that chemistry course, and they cheated the whole way through, where you worked your ass off for it. So, anyway, expectations. I have very high expectations for all of you. I honestly believe that all of you guys can pass this course. I believe that most of you guys can pass this course with an A. Now, the expectations means that I expect you guys to be reading. So looking at the lectures. If you're not reading, you should at least be looking at all of the lectures, because it will provide you with that, at least the baseline material that you'll need for this course. You come prepared, it's like when you're reading or you're looking at those lectures, or if you're in the Zoom meeting, make sure you have your resources available. You have a periodic table available so that you can answer some of the questions, and you should interact. Don't be quiet. I know one of you guys, I was looking at the videos that some of you guys have put up already. Some of you guys, I'm so shy, and they wouldn't even show their face and like that. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't be shy. You need to get over that. To be successful, you got to be outgoing. You have to be, you want people to be looking at you, right? In a positive way, right? Because if they're looking at you and they recognize that you have the capacity to do great things, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. If you're shy in the background, you're not going to get those opportunities, right? And so you want to make sure that you're able to sit there and interact. And don't be scared. It's okay to be wrong. We learn from being wrong more than we learn from being right, right? So when you guys were kids, how did you learn not to touch the stove? Emily, how did you learn not to touch the stove?
By touching it.
By touching it, right? So as soon as you touched it, it was all hot, and you're like, oh, I learned real quick, right? So sometimes we have to learn by making mistakes, and that's okay. It's better for you to make mistakes in class than you to make mistakes on the exam or making mistakes in real life, okay? So ask questions. It's okay to be wrong. Don't be ashamed to be wrong, and don't let your pride get in the way, because if you let your pride get in the way, you're going to keep yourself from learning to your full capacity, and we want you guys to learn to your full capacity.
You have 2 questions. Maria said, how would you know what to take notes on? And Esmeralda said, when's the video due? Okay.
So the first one is how to know what to take notes on. So that is kind of like it's more you, right? So if you don't feel that you have a good grasp on it, you want to take notes on it, right? And then often if we're doing an equation, I always give you guys an example. Write down that example so that you guys can see it through the process. I mean, of course, I also have the examples up on the screen, but by you writing it down, it also helps it stay up here, rather than you just looking at it. By you participating, doing that writing, it helps you, okay? So you always want to take notes on examples that we're doing. And then sometimes you want to just remind yourself, oh yeah, remember to do this, remember to do this, right? So that's what I would take notes on. Does that help? What about you? You guys tell me, what do you guys take notes on?
I take notes on pretty much everything. I just like to cover everything and make sure that I don't miss anything.
Okay, Bertha,
So I'm
what about
a
you?
note taker. I'm always
Good.
a note taker. I love to take notes, even if it's not important. I'm taking notes right now.
Oh,
And
that's
even though
good.
we have that paper, we have your paper that you're presenting, I'm just a note taker. I love taking notes.
Okay. Okay, Bertha?
Same. I like to go back to my notes and refer in case I forget something. So I take notes on everything as well.
What about you, Juan?
Honestly, I hate taking notes.
You hate taking notes?
I hate it. I don't know if it's every guy or if it's just me, but I don't like taking notes. I only take notes like when I really don't get something.
Uh-huh.
So let's say you were talking about pizza. Obviously, I'm gonna know about that. I don't need to take notes. Now, if we're talking about math, I'm gonna need to take some notes because I don't know. It's
Okay.
a process.
Okay. So it's usually the things that you really don't know anything about is what you take notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Esmeralda, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you take notes on? And then we'll talk about that video.
Anything that I don't know of.
Anything
So I could like look back and reread it so it could make sense.
Okay. Okay. So if I remember correctly, your that video is due next Wednesday. The reason why it's going to be due not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday is because we have students that'll be adding the course. So we'll be losing some students and we'll be gaining some students. So I want to give them opportunity to do that as well. So, but I don't wait till the last minute, get it done, get it out of the way so it's not hanging on your back because you'll forget about it.
Wait, what's the video about?
About you.
Also,
I want to know about you, right? So I use these videos, right? So again, these are one of those things that I do. I get to find out a little bit about you because I know that there's a woman, and she actually does some leather work, and so she got an engraver recently, and that she does leather work on and stuff like that. So I get to find out more about you guys and get an idea about what you guys are into. I kind of frames my stories and what we're going to be talking about in chemistry. And then also, if you guys ever become famous, right, I can sell all your information to tabloids, make more money. Are you guys there?
Yes, right here.
Okay, good. Okay, so do the homework, do the practice exams. Let's see. Review any supplemental material. If you don't understand it, go to YouTube. There's somebody there that could help you, right? You also have all of these tutors. Go to their tutors, right? And the other thing is, and this is what I want to tell particularly students online, try it first. And if you don't really get it, then go to the tutors. And then if they can't help you, then come to me. So just kind of get in the habit of doing that, because sometimes if you just look at it and just take a step back for a moment, look at your notes, and you're like, oh shit, it's right there. You got the answer right there, right? But at least try it first. Don't be needy, Try it first, try it yourself first, and then you work your way through it. It's just like, okay, I didn't get that. Let me go talk to Cole or Israel and see maybe they can help me. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't understand anything that they said. Maybe Dr. Henry will be able to. Okay, but try it first, look at it first, and then see if you can get it. Now, don't flounder. Do you guys know what I mean by flounder?
No.
No.
Like wait till the last minute?
Yeah, well, of course, not to wait till last minute, but flounder
But I
basically
mean, like
means,
just float by.
yeah. So flounder also means that when you're looking at it and you're looking at it and you're looking at it and you've looked at it for like a month. And then you're like, after that, you go, no, that's floundering. That means that you've basically wasted a whole month not understanding it. Try it a little bit, okay, yeah, okay, no, I don't get that. And then, take another look at it maybe the next day. And then if you still don't get it, then hey, hit up the tutor. That's what they're getting paid for, right? Hit me up, So then make sure that you've at least tried it, so you at least have looked at it. So rather than you just coming to me and saying, well, I haven't even looked at it. And then I'm like, okay, that's great. So maybe you should look at it first. And then, so then that way it also helps you be a little more independent. And independence is a great thing, particularly in studying, right? So, I mean, working in a group is a great thing too, but being able to come to the table and provide something is also a great thing. And that's what we want you guys to get in the habit to do. And sometimes by you looking at it, right, it'll start getting other things to click. And then we have some really cool discussions and stuff like that in class and outside of class about other cool things that you could be doing. So that pertains to that. Go to your MESA Center or your STEM Center. I know you guys have it. There's a link to it. They sent out a message saying that they're missing all their students. So you guys should definitely take advantage of that. Is the campus open at Harnell?
I have no clue. I have not gone.
I believe it is.
The bookstore is open. They actually don't come out to the outside anymore. You have to go inside the bookstore to pick up your book. You can order it and have it waiting for you when you're there, but you have to go inside. So, yeah, I'll have to get the information on that too, because I believe it is now. Form a study group. The students that typically have the highest grades in my class are the ones that they study together. They do the homework together. And they're usually on top of it. And you can tell the groups that study together, because I mean, they're just like on fire in the Zoom sessions. You're like, hey, yep, they actually did that. And there's usually one person that really kind of pulls everybody together, but they all contribute, and you can tell that they all contribute. And then you also have, that occasional person in that group that's dead weight, but for the most part, it helps them, that dead weight, to get over that hump. So at the end, they end up working on it. Don't wait till the last minute to do it. You want to make sure that you're reading the lecture or looking over the lecture before lecture. So then you're kind of having those pointed questions, when you're there, like, I really didn't understand that. Let me ask it now. Because then you're taking advantage of that opportunity. Don't procrastinate. I am the biggest procrastinator, and I always tell people not to procrastinate because I don't want you to be like me and have everything being done at the very, 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 very last minute. I know we all have very, very, very busy schedules, and it's hard not to procrastinate, especially now because a lot of us are working like 2 or 3 jobs to sit there and ends meet. We have kids to take care of. We have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband to try to help out with things and take care of. And so it's so easy to try to put your education on the back burner. Now, don't do that. And I'm telling you that now. Don't do that, because it's going to burn you. It's going to burn you bad, right? And the other way of looking at it is, the sooner you get through with your education, the more money you make. So then you won't have to work as many jobs, unless you just really want to, right? You can help provide for your kids. You can set an example for your kids. You can be the role model for your kids. You can sit there and convince your husband or your spouse or your boyfriend or girl to go to school and do something as well too. Don't put it on the back burner. Make sure you give yourself time to be successful, okay? There's tons and tons of support at Hartnell. If you actually visit this website, it'll tell you about the programs that are available at your campus. Because COVID and everything, I would say we're probably going through a lot more crises than we would normally go through. Not that we don't have them normally, but just being so isolated and dealing with people being sick and death. Last spring, I had 5 people in my family, my extended family, die of COVID, and I didn't realize how much of an impact it was on me until I started, getting pissed off at the stupidest things and stuff like that. So I had to take a step back. And then I had to talk to one of my friends who happens to be a psychologist. And we spent a lot of time talking to kind of get me back into the right mindset of things, because you don't realize that things are taking such a huge toll on you. And, that pressure that you're getting, And especially now, it's just like being so, like I said, isolated. I wasn't able to see my family the way I normally would. We couldn't go out and visit them. We couldn't go to their funerals. It was just not, it's a weird thing to be happening right now. And so sometimes we need that little extra help. And so don't feel ashamed to reach out for it. As I said, there's the link that's on the syllabus if you need that help. I am not a psychologist. I won't pretend to be a psychologist, but I'm always willing to listen, right? And if you need a little extra time on things, or let me know, and I'll do my best to work with you. And I understand what it's like to lose family members. I understand what it's like to go through those things, a lot of things at a given point. So I try to keep that in perspective with you as students. And so, feel free to talk to me about it. Anything that we talk about is between us. I won't share anything unless you're saying that you're going to kill yourself or anything like that. Then, I have to say something to somebody, because I don't want to see you do that. Okay. And I don't want to see you guys get to that point. So definitely take advantage of that. Okay. So there's the disabled student, the DSPS program. And so basically, I'm sorry, it's the Department Support Program and Services. And so if you need accommodations, take advantage of it. And they have a lot of cool things. So Juan was basically mentioned, like, he hates taking notes. I hate taking notes too. So I know DSPS has a pen that is really cool. And so it actually records. And so you could sit there and write something on this piece of paper. And as you run over that, what you just written over, because it recognizes the line or something like that, it'll actually play that recording for you. And so you could actually hear what was actually said at that point that you were taking those notes, right? And so there's things like that that could help you with your education. So if you feel that you need that support, definitely go look at it. If you feel that you don't need that support, but you like a lot of cool tech stuff, definitely go there as well, because they have the best tech. Okay, we've got to respect. So we are very inclusive environment. This is a very inclusive class. We want to try to come with respect. We may not agree on everything. We may argue, we may bicker, we may fight, but at the end of the day, I like to look at us, we're kind of like a family. And I am, and I will admit, I've become a little intrusive, because I'm intrusive because I care about your education. I want you guys to succeed. So I will bother you. I will email you if I notice that you're not coming to class. I'm like, hey, you haven't turned in that exam. What's going on? Are you doing okay? Right? Don't take it the wrong way. I'm trying to look out for you, right? And I will do my best to give you the most respect as possible. Now, I expect the same thing. And I also expect the same thing in terms of when we're talking about exams. I mean, a lot of times nobody wants to take an exam. Anybody who loves taking exams? They're just like, oh, okay, I just got to take an exam. Anybody love that?
Nope.
Good. I figured that. It was really quiet. I could hear a pen drop. But nobody loves. I don't love taking exams. I don't like writing. If it was really left up to me, I don't even know if we'd have exams. But we have to find ways of assessing people. So it is what it is. Now, I expect you guys to kind of give me a little bit of respect and everything like that, and I'm going to give you guys the respect too. I know you don't want to take the exam, and you may bitch about the exam and everything like that, but you guys got to understand, you have to take it. And sometimes you may think we have not covered material. If you look back at the notes, we've covered that material. And a lot of times we'll let you know, hey, no, we've covered that. No. And I hate hearing students say, oh, you're not fair. We shouldn't have to do this. Hey, sorry, there's a lot of things in life that we don't want to do that we end up having to do. And so we want to sit there and make sure that you come in with the right mindset. If you come in with the wrong mindset, it's going to screw you up. So come in with a little respect, come in recognizing that you're not going to be shown everything. And a lot of times you are shown it, but you don't recognize that you were shown it, or you were missed that day, or you were not paying attention. Look over the notes, look over the handouts. we've gone over a lot of things, and we will go over a lot of things, and you're not going to remember everything that we've gone over. But if you look back over your notes and then come to me and say, hey, can you explain this a little bit more? I saw this in the practice exam. I didn't see this in the notes. Can you kind of explain this, or can you explain it to the class? Because I guarantee you that if you don't know, there's about 90% chance that half the class don't know as well. And I don't mind going back over something if you come at me the right way. If you come at me the wrong way, I'm going to take it personal, right? Just like you, I am a human being. I'm going to still try to show you respect, but I'm going to let you know that, hey, we've gone over that, And like I said, I don't mind going over things. I kind of like finding new ways of explaining things, because, sometimes it just don't click, certain ways. And so if you let me know you didn't get it, hey, Dr. you mind going over that again, or can we do another problem? I'm always willing to sit there and take a step back. Sometimes I'll say, well, in a minute, we'll do that. And we will. Just remind me. And I promise you we'll do it. Okay. Anxiety. Oh my gosh. Test anxiety. I get worked up about test. How many of you guys get worked up about test?
Me, for sure.
Yeah. So things that you guys can do. One thing is, first off, go in with the right mindset. Make sure that you've done all the studying that you could possibly do, right? The other thing is, like, after you've done all the studies you could possibly do, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours before the test, don't do anything. Just kind of, you've done all your studying. Now just kind of zen, and go in with a positive outlook. See yourself.
I think that would give me more anxiety to do nothing.
That would give you more anxiety to do nothing?
Yeah, like I'm wasting time. I need to keep on reviewing.
Oh, no. See,
I'm that person.
What was that?
I'm that kind of person that I need to, like, make every minute valuable.
Okay. Well, so I always found that I would always do the best on the exam. I would study, I would give myself a stopping point, and then I would not do anything, right? I'd read a comic book or something like that, something that I consider fun, just to kind of get my mind off.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Right? And then by me getting my mind off of it, I go into the test, I'm focused, and I'm confident because I've done all the things that I needed to do for the exam. I did the practice test, I did the homework assignment, I made sure the ones that I was getting wrong, I went and already looked over, right? And then the problems that I got wrong on the last test, because there's a chance that I might be on this test too, I went back over those and looked at those, made sure that, so I've done everything. I went through my checklist, right? Done those things. There's nothing else you can do. Now just relax. So then it kind of takes some of that anxiety off. If you actually go to there's a link there, that'll give you a couple ideas that kind of help you reduce test anxiety. And each of us is going to be a little bit different. You're going to have to find your way of doing it. But if you go in with the right mindset, it often will help, especially if you've done all the things you're supposed to do already, right? So I'm going to do well on this. Tell yourself, I'm going to get it. I can do this. I can get this A. Right? We're not on campus, but if you guys go on campus, you want to take a look at this, and there's actually a link where if you see anything that happens on campus, you can report it. I guess we should talk about earthquakes since there was an earthquake there. You guys know what to do under earthquakes when earthquake hits?
Get under your desk.
Okay. Or doorway, or something that's framed well, right? Okay, class courtesy. Since these are Zoom calls, Zoom meetings, if you guys can mute your phone, if you guys you're talking to people in the background, but I really want to hear you guys. I like hearing your voices, responses. So if you could unmute yourself and talk to me a little bit, let me know that you guys are still there and that you understand, and ask questions, because Maria, I'll get back to the study guide here in a second. Ask questions, because like I said, if you have that question, there's a strong chance that more than half the class have the same question that you had. So just ask questions. Don't be ashamed to ask questions. Okay. So, but that means that you guys need to be able to talk. Now, I don't want you guys, and sometimes we will get sidetracked and everything like that and talk about Itzel's hair, you know, her curls and everything, but you know, but we want to try to get back on track because, you know, you guys are here to get your education and to learn the material. So we want to make sure that we give you that as well too, okay? So Maria asked, will we have a study guide? So I don't give study guides, I give a practice exam. Your practice exam is just as good as the study guide, if not better, because it gives you those practice problems. Does that answer your question? Okay, if you guys go to modules, follow along with me. Actually, everything's showing up really well here. Okay, so if you go, the very first link, how many of you guys already got the book?
I haven't yet,
Okay.
but I think it showed on the thing that it was a PDF file, right?
Yes, so
But-
there's a PDF file of a older version of the book. Okay, so this is a temporary, right? Because, you know, they want to get their money off of it. So if you purchase it and all that stuff. And the other thing is that if you kind of notice, it takes forever to load. So you want to download it, and the stability of the PDF is not the best. So it'll actually crash on you every once in a while and stuff like that. So I recommend that you get a copy of it. You know, and I like a hard copy. So me personally, I like to be able to write in my book and highlight stuff and things like that. I always get a hard copy of the book because I like to have it. I like to fill the pages. I don't know about you guys, but you have something to tide you over until you're able to get the version of your version of the book. Okay. And as you can see, it's really clunky. It takes forever to load and everything like that. Okay, so this is your very first assignment. I already know the problem here. Okay, so let me fix something. It looks like part of the reason why you guys are having trouble with Chem 101 is because the link that should be showing up is not showing up. Okay, so if you guys go to, again, you go to Chem 22, getting started, you see that Chem 101 link? If you guys go ahead and click on that, load Chem 101 in a new window. Okay, so you want to enter your Hardnell email address here. If you already have an account, you can just hit, I already have an account, and then they'll find it. And it'll link that account to my course. Okay.
My chemistry 101 doesn't work. It says the browser is currently unsupported.
Which browser are you using? You want to use Chrome?
Oh,
or
okay.
you wanna
No
use-
wonder, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go into class, you're not going to see anything because I don't have anything that we're doing in class. You'll have your homeworks. So this is your very first homework assignment. To take a look, it essentially is 2 questions. One is basically saying, you know, that you agree to use this program the appropriate way and you won't cheat and all of that stuff.
Dr. Henry, can you share your screen so I can see too?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Let me go back. So the first tab is class. If you go to the second tab where it says homework, it'll actually have your homework assignments. and it'll show you the start date and the end date. I'm going to try to get most of your homeworks up by the middle of next week when we have everybody in, so that you'll be able to sit there and do them at your own pace. And even though they have a due date that's going to be associated with it, they're going to be due at the very end, okay, of the semester. So you'll be able to complete them beyond that. Okay. Any questions about Chem 101?
No.
Mine just keeps asking for a course code.
Let's see. Did you select the right Chem 101? So did you go here and just click that link that says Chem 101?
Yeah,
Okay. Do me a favor. Do it again. Do you mind sharing your screen?
I can do it again.
Okay. Brandon, so it says that yours is expired. It should actually be good until
It says
2
it's
weeks.
about to expire and at the 13th of September.
Yep. So it's going to expire on the 13th of September.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to pay for it before then. And so if you guys, do you mind sharing your screen, Brandon?
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing mine.
Okay.
So you see in the corner where it says activate now, if you click that, that's where you're going to pay at.
Okay.
So you select it. And so I always tell all the students, if it were me, I'd always take advantage of them giving it to me for free. And then when I know that, okay, I'm in it to win it, right? So then I'm going to go ahead and pay for it. Okay. And so you just go ahead and you go ahead and activate course. You see where it says that? So you click that, and then I'll have you enter your yes, you can pay with the card. Paying with the card is a lot cheaper than paying it with a bookstore code. Bookstore code is a little more expensive.
Okay.
Actually, it's a lot more expensive. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And that actually has gone up since the last time. Okay. So you can go ahead and stop sharing. And then I'll start sharing. Okay. So you guys also see the intro assignment. So if you guys click on that, you get to see my beautiful face. If you hit start assignment, right here where it says record/upload media, so you can actually record right here. So you hit record, and it'll let you record everything, but you got to hit start recording. Blah, 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 blah. And you hit finish, and then you're ready to submit. Okay? Questions?
So
Is that the one that you're talking about, the video that we have to upload?
That is correct. That is the one that you have to upload.
Okay.
Yes, this is your first assignment. Okay, so if you go to modules, if you go down here, these are all of the resources that are available to you. And you can use all these resources on your exam. So if you go here, let's see, I went too far. This here is for your lab notebook, how to write your lab notebook. So these are the instructions on how to write your lab notebook and how much each one is worth. Okay, and then here, if you guys include a video link, although it was optional, their time, but it's required for you guys. You need to put your link here. You don't want to upload the video. You want to put your YouTube link here. Okay. So your lab report is going to consist of the title, the purpose. You guys know what a purpose is?
A purpose.
Yes. A purpose. Do you have a
I'm
purpose in
guessing-
life?
Yeah, I'm guessing you mean by like what the purpose of, the lab is, like what result you want.
Not necessarily what result you want. The purpose of the lab could be learning something. It could be trying to get something you want or something along those lines. So based upon each lab, you may have a different purpose. Like the very first lab the purpose of it is to figure out, to try to understand scientific method using the fact that one of the sodas is going to explode higher than the other. So then we have the hypothesis. Do you guys know what the hypothesis is?
What you think is gonna happen?
It is sort of what you think is going to happen. It is like an educated guess as to what's going to happen. So if we have Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, and sparkling water, which one do you think is going to explode higher?
Pepsi and Diet Pepsi, you said?
Yep, Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, and sparkling water.
Well, Pepsi.
Okay, so you would say, I believe Pepsi is going to explode higher. Okay, the other question is it a chemical reaction or is it a physical reaction? Or both?
Chemical.
And then the next part would be the materials and equipment that's needed for your lab. I'm actually going to get rid of the procedures because I think you should just use the lab to do it. The next part is going to be your data and observation and your results and your conclusion. Okay. We will go over these in a lot of detail. So when you guys start collecting all your data. Okay. So each of these represents all of the different parts of your of the things that you guys are able to use on the exam. So what I would do, I would go through, download them, and print them out. And I would actually print them out in color. And this is actually, I think this is the full packet, sure, of everything. Yeah, this is the full packet of everything. Or a full packet of everything. So you can just go ahead and print this one out, and it has everything in it, except one item, which I'll be adding up for you. Okay. Let's see. I also have how to use your calculators, various forms of calculators. And we also have past Zoom sessions. So I've taught this class a couple times now via Zoom. So this has some of the older Zoom meetings that I've had. So you guys can get an early start on that as well too. This here is the very first lecture that we'll be going over. We'll be doing that next week. So this is the lecture notes. This is the homework assignment that's associated with it. This here is a link to, I believe, Melissa Maribel. This is the next chapter that we'll be reading. This is the lecture notes. This here is links to help us with the various aspects of that particular lecture. You guys see how it works? And you guys weren't supposed to be able to see all of this. So I will fix this so that it'll start popping up after you complete the units, the first unit. Okay? Questions?
Nope. I think we're good so far.
Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you guys don't have any questions, let me check the chat.
Is there always gonna be like Zoom like this? Like you trying to explain stuff?
Yes, for the lectures. I will give you guys the Zoom lectures every Tuesday at 8 a.m. to 11. So 8 a.m. to 11 is your dedicated time. That's for your class. I will also have office hours. That my office hours is mentioned. So that's when you guys can come to me and ask me questions. And then part of my office hours, I have an overlap with your lab. We'll actually do your lab if you guys want to come there and do your lab with me rather than doing it independently on your own.
Are you gonna be posting the times?
Yes, they're actually posted on the syllabus.
Oh, okay. But those are gonna be in person, right?
No.
Oh.
Everything, this whole class is going to be online. You don't have to attend the Zoom sessions. That's up to you. You choose to attend the Zoom session. I find the students that typically attend the Zoom sessions do better than those who don't. But that's just my perspective. You know, as I said, we're testing out this whole self-paced thing, so it's all kind of new to me. Okay, so if you look here, the very first one is also a Zoom session. That's for my other class. So if you want to get ahead, you can actually look at their Zoom session. Come into their Zoom session. Or if you can't make your own, you can come to theirs and it's ahead. It's like I said, it's 2 lectures ahead of you guys. So we will get caught up with it, but you know, it'll be a minute before it happens. Okay, so yours is always going to be on Tuesdays at 8 in the morning to 11. Now, if you can't make it, that's okay. You can still pass the course without it. I had 2 students that passed the course without attending a single Zoom session. 3 students, and actually one of them got an A. But they were religious about watching the recordings. And then this is your Friday lab session. So that's dedicated for you to do your lab if you guys want to do your lab with me. Okay, and then these are my office hours. Okay. Questions, and as I said, the Zoom meetings are not mandatory. They're optional. They're just there to make it easier for you guys to learn the material. Now, I may tell you, if I notice that your guys are struggling, I may tell you guys that hey, I'm strongly recommending that you go to the Zoom sessions because you're falling behind or you're struggling. So, but again, that's because I want you guys to do well in the course. Okay. Okay, Luis, did I answer your question about Chem 101? Are there any other questions?
You know how I told you I was having issues with my Canvas logging in on Chrome to check the chemistry 101?
Yeah.
It says that it'll take up to 30 minutes for me to be able to change my password or figure out what my password is. So
okay,
if I need help, can I just ask you later?
Yeah, just shoot me a text message and I'll be able to help you. Now, if I don't respond immediately, don't get upset because that usually means that I'm teaching a class and I usually don't have my phone on the table. But I will respond as soon as I get a chance.
All right, sounds good. Everybody has a life.
Yes. Okay, any other questions?
I'm sorry, Professor. Did I miss the ad codes?
Oh, no, you have not missed the ad codes. I'm glad you brought that up. So I will be providing those who weren't in there. If you're on the waiting list and you've attended the session, you're guaranteed in. Okay. So what I need to do is, so those who are not in the class right now, so those who are in the class, if you guys don't have any other questions, you guys can go. Those who are not in the class yet and that are on the waiting list, and if you're not on the waiting list and you're still interested in the class and you've come, you're going to get in the class. Okay.